Hello everybody, this is ManuS. I am back with the next part of the artifact set review. Time to talk about the improvements, the red ones at that. I'm still kinda sick, but yeah, the show must go on, so let's continue. Okay, so first off, we have Burning Oil. This card in Limited is quite decent, like the more sort of defensive and controlling your deck is, I think the better the card becomes, because then this gives you a nice way of sort of incrementally defending a lane and softening it up, especially when you pair it with blue, the blue damage-based sweepers. I have played this a fair share as splash in like blue-green decks as a red, with a red hero as splash, like 2 blue, 2 green. I can also see this in like blue-red. Probably not that great in like red-green or red-black. But yeah, as a splash and controlling decks, this makes a lot of sense, or in like blue-red, especially if you're more controlling. In Constructed, I don't think this is particularly playable. There are just better ways to manage the board. Next we have Grant Melee. That card's honestly pretty bad in both formats. If there's an allied red hero in this lane, all heroes have +2 cleave. That also counts for opposing heroes, and +2 cleave is also not that much, so we'll just kind of like, end up with everyone taking a bunch of extra damage, your stuff and their stuff, and yeah, that doesn't seem particularly great. I don't think you ever want to put this into any Limited or let alone Constructed deck. Next we have Path of the Bold. This is one of the better passes, and that says a lot because this is still pretty bad. If you play a red card, modify a random ally with +1 attack. This is basically much worse than combat training. You need to trigger it a second time to even get the same amount of stats, and then you get those 2 attack points on random allies rather than together on one hero, where you can actually control them and use them so they have maximum impact. This card is pretty bad, so are all the other passes, but we'll talk about them when we get to those colors. And in Constructed, it's even worse. So yeah, pretty bad. Next we have Temple of War. Another one of these symmetrical improvements in red. Temple of War, all equipped heroes have +2 attack and 1 armor. That also counts for opposing heroes, making this card a pretty bad double-edged sword. And I don't see why you would ever want to put this into a Limited deck, and in Constructed it is even worse once again. Cards that are bad in Limited are almost always worse in Constructed, because the power level is higher in Constructed and people are more dedicated building the decks to do a specific thing. And last but not least, we have the Omax Arena. I saw a lot of people ranking this pretty highly. I am not quite a believer yet. I think the card is okay, but I cut it a lot from decks. I think it is kind of situational and pretty expensive for that. It's much worse than Unearthed Secrets, while Unearthed Secrets almost draws your card almost every turn. This draws you a lot less cards, and it also costs twice as much, and the fact that it costs twice as much alone is a pretty big deal. But yeah, you can put this in a lane where there's multiple heroes about to die and then draw a nice bunch of extra cards. Card is definitely not unplayable in Limited, but I'm not the biggest fan. Maybe I am wrong there, but the card just feels a bit too situational and clunky to me more often than not. So if I have a high card quality, this usually ends up on the cutting board in my experience for me in Limited. And in Constructed, there are just better ways to draw cards. So this is not gonna matter for Constructed. Alright, that's it for the red improvements. This was a pretty short video, there's not that many improvements, but that also means we're gonna be done with the series soon and can start with other content like deck text, for example, and stuff like that. Alright, that's it again for today. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification icon down below. You can also find me on social media over here and live streaming on Twitch, once I'm better again, at least. And yeah, if you want to further support the channel, please consider whitelisting YouTube. I put an ad at the beginning and end of each video to help support the content for free. Okay, that's it again. This was the artifact set review with the red improvements. I'm your host ManuS, and thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with the green improvements. Bye.